Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Invest in Yourself, the podcast series. I am, of course, the host with the most, the podcast mogul himself, Phil Better. And with me today, I am excited to have the host of the Tekpon SaaS Podcast himself, Christian Dina. Christian, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This is my first time being a guest, so.
Oh, yay. I love that. I love having the opportunity to be the first person to be your first host that you get to talk to and be your first guest. So that's great. Christian, I've been listening to your podcast a bit since you wanted to be on the show. I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your show to my audience.
Sure. So my name is Christian. My company is Tekpon. So I'm the SaaS podcast host at Tekpon. Our podcast mostly helps founders or CEOs promote their products better. So we saw a need let's say you want to buy a software product, and you go check it out on LinkedIn. Everything seems good, but they have only 4 employees, and they seem a little bit sketchy or shady.
Yes.
And you want to see who's behind that company. So that's the way that we innovate in. So we want to bring the people behind companies and share their story. So why did they start the software company? What's the problem that they want to solve? But also bring CEOs like Guillaume, who brought Learnis to $150 million and share his teachings. So there are a lot of things that we're trying to do there, but mostly to help the community.
No, yeah. And I love it because behind you have collaboration over competition. I believe it's community over agendas. Like you have all these great sayings, and that's true. Like collaboration is the key. Like no one's in competition. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Like there's enough clients out there to solve everyone's problems, so we don't have to fight against each other. And I love that. And I love how you're using your podcast not only to promote your business, but to promote other businesses as well. That's just like genius.
Our company's motto is "We rise by lifting others." So I have no other way of doing it.
I love it, and it's a great thing. You do rise because all high tides rise. Like as the sea level rises, all the ships rise. Like no one just sinks unless you're a submarine, but that's your job to sink. But how did you come up with the idea to incorporate the podcast into the business? Like, how did you come up with that idea?
To be honest, Alex, our CEO, started it around 2 years ago, and I joined the company 1 year ago. So yesterday, it was my first year anniversary.
Congratulations!
And he saw me being an influencer here in Romania. I was an influencer mostly in the automotive industry. That's how they found me as well. And they gave me a chance. They saw me that I'm passionate about video, producing TikToks. I don't know, I was one of the most popular influencers on TikTok in Romania. Working in affiliate like now, and he gave me the chance. So I was so impressed that he let me to be free and didn't say that you need to ask these questions or do this or film like this. He said no, you have complete freedom. So I had a few cameras. We had a studio at the podcast. Now it was amazing because I had I had the initiative, and I can do what I want and improve how I see. So now, looking back, it's a bit cringy, but it's a thing that I absolutely love. That if you look 1 year back and you don't say how stupid I was, it didn't evolve enough.
So true. It is so true. I love how you look at that. You're investing in yourself. Like 1 year ago you were cringe. This year you're not so cringe. You know, you're less cringeworthy, and that the following will be even less cringy. I love that mentality that you have. That's genius, because not a lot of people have that because they're scared to be cringy. They're scared to see that because you're literally leaving physical evidence of your evolving from cringe to non-cringe.
Yeah, so I started doing this in my 11th grade, and some of my colleagues started having fun of me creating fake accounts with my name, and I was posting mostly philosophy and personal development quotes, something like that, Instagram quotes, and you absolutely know them.
Yeah.
But that motivated me even more. I didn't hate them. I say, oh, okay, they made fun of me, but why not? So I have to forgive them and move on.
That's right. The best way to do is forgive them, move on, and like, hey, you're doing something you're passionate about, and you look where it came from. It went from them making fun of you to you getting to talk with amazing people who are building companies and products that are helping businesses and individuals create wealth for themselves. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And 1 year ago, before starting, I was in a little competition with other influencers who are in the same niche of personal development. I wanted to see how everyone grows and what they do. So investing and reading and stuff like that. And now looking back, I don't know why I asked my girlfriend, what do you think was the most important factor in me evolving so much and them staying the same? And she said to me that you are open to listen and to take advice and don't have that ego that you put up. So you listen to everybody and take what's good and what's wrong and you decide. So don't have that ego. I think that's the best piece of advice for anybody, and that worked for me.
I'm just gonna write that down. Drop. I actually that's one of the questions. Like, what is a tip you have for someone? And I think dropping your ego and learning. So I'm just gonna put that down right there. That question is answered. I love that.
Yeah. Before Alex, I had a couple of other mentors, and they were in a way toxic. But I figured out myself, and I was open to listen, and I still learned something from them. So I know not everybody can do this, but I hope everybody will be open to try this, because you never know who's behind, and you never know who knows stuff. So you need to be open and listen.
No, it's very true. Everybody has something to teach you, whether it's a lesson on what to do or what not to do. There's
Exactly.
lessons. Everybody has a lesson to teach you, and that's what you have to look at. I don't look like I don't take failures anymore. I have lessons. I've changed that. The L's aren't for losses, they're for lessons. The only loss I have is if I stop. That's the only time you lose, if you stop. So I love that. Like, you learn from everybody. Everybody has something to teach. I love that. That's so wisdom, my guy. Wisdom.
I'm just trying.
You're just trying. Yeah, it's from all the personal development that you've read. Like, you have that wisdom, that knowledge is yours, and you build on it and share it with other people, and resonates them differently. But I would like to know, in the podcast, so you've been podcasting for 1 year, correct? Yeah. And the podcast has been going for about 2 years since the company started. The founder started it, or the CEO started it, and then handed off the reins to you. Did you find difficulty, because you weren't a podcaster before? This is your first podcast, right?
Yes.
So there was. Did you find that there was a steep learning curve, or was it because you were already so used to talking in front of the camera, doing the interviews on a podcast were easier?
I didn't have that shyness, but I didn't know anything about the industry, so about SaaS. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I knew some things about entrepreneurship, starting a business, and so on. So I started taking guests who had generic businesses, so normal businesses, and then scale to SaaS and learn that way. So I don't know, even a few months back, didn't know what churn is, or RRE, MRR, something like that. So
the ARR and the MRR and the churn.
Yeah.
I have an idea about that. I don't have a SaaS business. I've interviewed SaaS people, so I understand that, and I've read. But yeah, I can understand the acronyms that they throw out in the SaaS world.
LTV, CAC, yeah.
What are you saying?
Yeah, so I found difficulty in doing that. So I thought of myself being a little bit stupid, but with every podcast I learned something new. And the way I discovered of putting unique questions and honest question was to have the curiosity that to express my curiosity. So if I didn't know what a customer success manager did, I just asked them. I didn't know that. I didn't think that it would be stupid to do that, and I'll try to seem smart or something. No, I don't know what I don't know, something in learning and development or R&D did. So I just asked, what do you do? What do you exactly do at your company? Because I don't know. And they are open to do that and teach to us. So I also thought that if I didn't knew the terms and the position and so on, there are a lot of people that want to get in this space and
you're helping them
learn this. Yeah.
See, I love how you're like, I don't care if I look stupid. I want to learn. And that is like the biggest thing I think people forget. They forget that life is about learning constantly. So if you don't ask the questions, you won't learn. There's someone out there that doesn't know that, and that's your audience. Your job as a podcast host is to get the questions so that everybody who's listening understands and can take something from it. I think that's great. Going into a conversation being stupid or not knowledgeable in the subject just means that you're going to ask the questions that other people may be wanting to ask.
Yeah, and I also looked at other podcasters. So Nathan Latka is the most popular SaaS podcaster. And I tried at first looking at some episodes, but I didn't understand anything. And now I still watch, and I could never do what he's doing. So he's very focused on numbers and asking the right questions. And yeah, it's completely different, but I absolutely love what he's doing.
Yeah, he dominates in his niche, and I get his emails, and it's just like, geez, the knowledge this man has. Of course, it's over the years that he's accumulated it and his experiences. But you're doing something completely different that he probably can't do. You're getting into the root. You're learning about the nuances of these companies that are just starting and that are further along, but you're getting to know them as individuals. Whereas he's learning that he wants to get the business stuff. So if you want to learn about more deep business stuff, you're going over to Nathan. But if you want to understand and say, is this a business I can trust or a product I can trust? You got to listen to you, Kristen, because you are teaching that. That's what it is. You're dominating in a completely different niche, but you're in the same overarching niche as it is.
Appreciate that very much. And to share a quick story, I was in Barcelona at Staster Europe with Nathan. He had a small brain date, as they were called, and there were like 20 people and listening to him. He was just speaking, and every 2 minutes he learned, did I just lost you guys? So after that meeting with him, I thought this man is a genius, a business genius. So every 2 minutes he was like, did I lost you guys? Did you understand? Did you do the math?
Let's go. Smart man.
Yeah.
That must have been a genius meeting to be a part of. God, the knowledge that you must have acquired. I'm so jealous. Very, very jealous. With your podcasting being something relatively new, like your first time being a guest on a show, so that's awesome. And this is your 1 year anniversary doing the podcast. In that period of time, has there been a moment that you're like, wow, this is incredible. I can't believe I'm doing this. I was just a TikToker influencer in Romania a year ago, and now I'm talking with people who make billions of dollars from their businesses. Like, is there a moment that you just need to pinch yourself?
Yeah, I think every couple of days. To be completely honest. So Alina, our chief operational officer, wanted to buy a car, and she saw my TikToks promoting automotive verification software, and she bought the car using my affiliate link, so I got $5 or something. And afterwards, a couple of months after, I applied to join the company, and she remembered my face, and she said, okay, let's give him a chance. I applied as a junior copywriter. I wanted to try copywriting, but mostly I was in social media with a bit of experience. And I'm grateful for that every day. So I don't know how to say it, but
that's insane. From the chief financial officer of the company.
Chief operational. Yeah, my mistake.
Chief operational officer of the company saw your TikTok uses your link, in essence, pays you for your knowledge. Pays you for your knowledge, and then looks like, oh, I remember him, and you end up working. That is serendipitous. That is insane, ladies and gentlemen. That's what. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely grateful. So also Alex, who's a serial entrepreneur and very known in Romania and outside of Romania, he has over 20 plus startups. He got me to a lot of businessmen and entrepreneurs, and I'm absolutely grateful. But as long as you stay humble, you can
always hungry
meet everybody.
Always hungry to learn. Everybody's going to be open to you. I'm wow. You are. I have no words, ladies and gentlemen. I am speechless. A podcaster that's speechless. That's a first. What does your process look like when you want to start your podcast? Like, from inviting the guest on to publishing the episode, I'm guessing you're obviously recording the episode. Do you have a hand in anything else, or are you just the person who handles the podcasting and you touch nothing else on the podcast?
No, I also take care of finding the guests. So I don't know, looking at LinkedIn, and there are a lot of ways of finding guests, posting in SaaS groups. We have a community on Facebook of 137,000 entrepreneurs, and that's our main leverage. So when I do the cold outreach, I message them and say, hey, I'd love to have you on the podcast. We have a community of 137,000 entrepreneurs, and they'd like to know what advice you have for them, or what product you are building, and that's one of the most important things I learned. Every time you have to have a leverage, so something that you can use, and it's unique in a way. So afterwards, we just book a meeting through Calendly. We do the podcast directly. I'm a direct person. I prefer natural, and no questions before, just meet them directly, because also if we talked before, so let's say you and I talked before the podcast 20 minutes, that was the most interesting part of the conversation, because that's when
discovering. Yes.
Yeah. So I see no sense in that, and we do the podcast directly. Afterwards, I edit it, post it everywhere, and also share it on social media, and make it as a transcript for our blog posts. So I kind of handle that all. But I'm happy with that. I cannot complain. I'm grateful.
So your main thing is you handle the A to Z of the whole thing. You don't outsource anything. It's just 100% you.
Yeah, we're a small company for now, at the moment, maybe in the future, but I don't have a problem with the process, because also when I do the transcript, it's a software that does the transcript, but I have to correct it and get it all the way. I also learn another way and see the discussion and have another retrospective, and yeah.
That's awesome. And of course, in getting that, you build the tools, you learn more that you can then take and teach others, or you can take to another position and you have more skill sets for you. That's awesome, man. You just keep investing in yourself. You keep learning. It's amazing. We're going to be wrapping up shortly, and I hate that because we have to end, and I'm having so much fun talking with you, Christian, because I love talking podcasts with podcasters.
I have time. I don't know if that's...
well, unfortunately, I got another podcast after.
Okay, I know the feeling.
Today is podcast day. It's podcast after podcast. But I want to know, Christian, do you have a podcast that is your go-to podcast? Is there a podcast that is that you every time it drops an episode that you listen to?
Probably Nathan Latkas, and also Guillaume, which is Bootstrap Stories. So those two, also in SaaS, they're amazing. They have high-end guests, let's say, and they have their unique style of asking questions. So yeah, I really love them. And we rise by lifting others, so they're my models, not my competition.
Yes, no, and Nathan's podcast is just so, if you want to get technical, it's there as well. So it's a valuable resource for any podcaster, and it is in my list. But sometimes it's like I think I need a rocket degree to understand some of the stuff he's saying, and the technical stuff. But yes, it is a great podcast to listen to. Where do you see your podcast going? Like, you have pretty much the handle on it. It's your child to grow after being handed the reins. Where do you want it to go?
I'd say to interview every SaaS company. So not necessarily one person, but every person has their unique story. And that's, as you said, the way that we innovated, bringing the story first and afterwards the numbers and the technical stuff. So let's say from HubSpot, I can talk with 20 of their employees. Each one has a unique story, somebody from sales, somebody from marketing, how they switch companies, and a lot of lessons to learn. So yeah, I don't see it as a interview, more of a recorded conversation, let's say. So for us it's been incredible because we gain trust. We also give trust to other people, and we do that. So for example, we also interview high CEOs with the best companies, but also starting founders. So I have no judgment before, or I'm open to anybody that's in SaaS and wants to have some free exposure. And yeah, that's mostly the vision. I want to to have open conversations. And I don't know, maybe you follow someone from LinkedIn, you see their posts every week, but you never saw a video of them talking. And I want to be the person that gets you that opportunity. So
I love
yeah.
that. I love how you just want to help so many other people, and I think that's one of the best things, and that's how you grow so much. Your podcast will triple in numbers because they see the authenticity of being the trueness, the authenticity of your help that you want, and of course with the Tekpon, which is a place where people can get SaaS products, which is an amazing thing because you have so many different categories there. How did you find out about Tekpon?
Well, to be honest, last summer I finished high school, so 12th grade high school, and I just got into university the first year. And I said to myself, if I can find a good job in marketing, because that's what I was passionate about, I'll quit college. And I went to like 20 or 30 interviews, and they all said me, you have a great attitude, I really like you, but you don't have experience. Because I had some TikTok accounts, Instagram accounts that I grew in social media, but I didn't have a degree or something like that. And I searched, and I found them and went to the interview. In that same day, they said yes. I asked for, when I saw their mentality and what they want to do, because they're the exception here in Romania, I asked for a minimum salary. Alex even told me, I have a proposal for you. I want to offer you 20% more because that's what we thought, and I don't want to underpay you and then leave. So yeah, I'm absolutely grateful for the mentality and what I learned from them. And
are they hiring? Is your department hiring? I don't know. I have no problem working under you. Apparently, no. But yes, that's great. How they were.
Also, what I wanted to mention before is the advantage of being small, because I'm small. I know nothing. My podcast starts from zero, so I can interview anybody. So that's the advantage of being small. If I have, I don't know, like requirements, you have to have over 100 employees or that. That's ego. No, I want to.
You're open to anybody. You're from
yes.
The little guy all the way to the giant. You don't care. You want everybody has a story that you want to hear, and you just want to learn their story.
Yes, and because I know, let's say a big company now with 100,000 employees starts a podcast, they cannot get anybody on that podcast. They have to do some checks. You know what I mean. And I want to.
It's more they're very branded, and it's a very specific type of person that they're having on. Whereas you being from a small company, it doesn't matter who you have on because you just want to talk to them. You just want to know who they are. I love that for you, Christian. We're coming up to the last question. I love it because it does talk about some of the stuff you did. Hopefully you choose a different name, but who has been the most memorable teacher in your life?
Alex. I gotta say Alex. So since the day I met him, we talked about 2 or 3 hours daily on WhatsApp, on telephone. I went to conferences with him. I met when we had the office, we met every day. So yeah, he's my mentor. I absolutely am grateful for what he taught me. He basically saved me 20 years. If I don't know, before I had the thinking that you have to be egotistical and selfish to win, he told me no, you have to help others, you have to do all this stuff, to be kind, to don't have expectations, to forgive, to learn, to help others, to give and not look back. So he saved me 30 years of my life, or my whole life, because I would have had failed relationships, no money, failed businesses. So yeah, I'm absolutely grateful, and are still talking almost every day. I have no words, so the story is incredible. I don't know how to express this gratefulness that I feel. So I'm only 20. I don't know if I mentioned that.
No, you didn't. But also, you're already wiser than most 40-year-olds I know. So you're ahead of the game, and you're right. He did save you at least 20 years of your life, learning those lessons. Christian, I'm gonna jump off screen. I want you to let my audience know where they can find your podcast, how they can connect with you, anything else you want to let them know. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay. So our website is tekpon.com. Here you can find all kinds of software. that you want to buy. So we want to help people buy the right software for their business, not necessarily the best one. So for example, if you're a small business like, I don't know, an e-commerce store, you don't need HubSpot, which is the best CRM of them all, or Salesforce. You need something more specific. And that's the problem that you're trying to solve, to find the right software for your business, because there's a lot of software listing, and they're doing awesome stuff. You can find our podcast searching Tekpon SaaS Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and all the major platforms. And for anybody that wanted to reach me, Christian Dina on LinkedIn, Christian Dina on Instagram, or christian@tekpon.com. I'll probably reply, because I love meeting new people and having partnerships, and I'm absolutely grateful for this opportunity. The first time being being a guest, and as you can see, I'm a bit red in on my face, because I'm so grateful, and I really enjoyed it. It seemed like 5 minutes, and I think you're a lot better than me at listening. I see myself as an introvert and as a listener rather than a speaker. But today it was reversed. So I needed this moment of speaking, because I had listened so much. So thank you for that, and you're a great listener.
You are very, very Christian. I don't know why you're scared of talking, because you have a vast knowledge that you're ready to share. After a year of podcasting, trust me, after a year of podcasting, you should have no problem being a guest on a podcast. I'm surprised it took you this long. You were an amazing guest. I can't thank you enough for being on the show and sharing your stories. It's been a heck of a time talking with you, and following you on LinkedIn has taught me a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, because you have knowledge that I don't. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Really appreciate that. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And to my audience, make sure you check out this Humble Man's podcast, because I can tell you it is fantastic. There's a lot of great stories in there, and you get to learn a lot about business. And if you're a business person, go to Tekpon. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there. The links, of course, will be in the show notes down below. Christian, thank you again for being on the show. And to my audience, always remember to invest in yourself.